Good day, Joyce and Michelle.
Good day to Raul.
Raul, have a nice day as well.
I scheduled this meeting simply to inform and explain to you that we have an engaging and educational task to complete. Well, it is a kind of paperwork that is needed in the partial fulfillment of the requirements prescribed for our course, which is Science 122 Genetics.
To be honest, I'm a little bit nervous about it because I'm not used to drafting such documentation, but I am optimistic that everything will work out.
Don't worry, Michelle. I'm confident that if we all work together, we'll be able to complete this test. It's something I'm looking forward to.
That's exactly, Joyce. To put it in a good light, let's think of it this way. Now is the perfect opportunity to develop ourselves and learn something new.
So let me ask of it, what kind of paper is it? Is it a journal article?
Position paper?
No, it is called systematic review.
Systematic review? A good writer possesses not only his own spirit, but also the spirit of his friends.
Good day, ma'am, sir, to each and everyone present today. I'm Raul Christian Pineda.
I am Joyce Soriano.
And I'm Michelle J. Cruz.
And we are from third year Bachelor of Secondary Education major in Science, Pangasinan State University, Lingayen Campus. We are so glad that you could join us today here in our virtual event in showcasing our systematic review article, following the IMRAD format, which is entitled as Bipolar Disorder, a review on types, causes, symptoms, and treatments. So, without further ado, I will give the floor to Mr. Yano in presenting our abstract and introduction.
Thank you for the introduction, Mr. Pineda. For the first part of our paper is the abstract. It contains the summary of our accomplished systematic review, wherein the definition of bipolar disorder, the aim of our study, and the method that we use, which is the PRISMA model, are presented in our abstract. It also contains the results of our exclusion and inclusion process. And lastly, the conclusion of our systematic review in terms of types, causes, symptoms, and treatments of bipolar disorder. We also included here some keywords to remember, which are bipolar disorder, base flow diagram, cause, symptoms, types, treatments, and drug treatments. Next part of our paper is the introduction. We included here some definitions of bipolar disorder, the types, causes, symptoms, and treatments. According to World Health Organization, bipolar disorder were classified as the world's 12 most prevalent, moderately to severely debilitating condition for any age group. We also included the different types of bipolar disorder, which are bipolar disorder 1 and bipolar disorder 2. According to Ayers and Parker, bipolar disorder may arise from different causes, which includes genetics, brain chemicals, environmental factors, and sometimes medical illnesses. According to Sichon et al., bipolar disorder is characterized by pathological change in mood as well as recurring episodes of mania, hypomania, depression, and mixed symptoms. Some of the symptoms of bipolar disorder are so severe that the person cannot function normally at work, school, or home, said by National Institute of Human Health. Mick Lewitt, says that there is no cure for bipolar disorder, but with the proper treatment, it helps people gain better controls of their moods. We have 5 objectives for our systematic review. Specifically, our systematic review sought to answer the following questions. First, what is bipolar disorder mean? Second, what are the different types of bipolar disorders? Third, what are the possible causes of developing bipolar disorder in terms of genes and mental health? Fourth, how are the symptoms of bipolar disorders vary in terms of age and length of time? And lastly, what are the treatments of bipolar disorder in terms of medication and supplements, psychotherapy, self-management strategies, and complementary health approaches? To present the methods that we use in conducting this systematic review, I will give the floor to Mr. Pineda.
Thank you, Ms. Soriano. Now that we've covered the abstract and introduction of our reviewed articles, it's time to move on to the methodology section. But before we go into detail about the various steps that we include in our reviewed articles, let us first define methodology. According to Merriam-Webster, methodology is a collection of methods, rules, and postulates used by a discipline, or in short, it is a particular procedure or set of procedures. There are numerous steps in our research articles that we must first comprehend in order to complete it more effectively. This includes the following review process, and it should be well developed and planned to reduce biases and eliminate irrelevant and low-quality studies. These are the following steps on implementing our systematic review. The first one, correctly formulating the clinical question to answer. The second one, developing a protocol, which is the inclusion and exclusion criteria. The third one, performing a detailed and broad literature search. And the last one, screening the abstract of the studies identified in the search and subsequently of the selected complete text. As we move forward, I will be discussing it more deliberately for better understanding. The aim of our study was to identify the symptoms, causes, treatments, and types of bipolar disorder. And we aim for a single statement that describes the purpose or reason for why we are conducting this research or study. We managed to create 5 correlated questions in our main topic, which is the bipolar disorder. By these questions, we can now proceed to the next step, which is the search strategy for identification studies. Primarily, we use electronic search engine database, which is the Medline via PubMed. Maybe many of you might ask, why PubMed? Well, PubMed is a free resource supporting researches and retrieval of biomedical and life sciences literature. This search database was the most precise tool because it was related to our topic, which is disorders. And we also follow some standard filter settings to ensure that our research articles are more accurate in correlation to our topic. This includes text availability, free full text, article type, journal article, and English language articles published between 2004 up to 2001. Regarding to our inclusion and exclusion criteria, the first thing that we managed to think about is that our topic focuses on individuals who have bipolar disorder. We managed to include 4 criteria for inclusion and 4 criteria for exclusion, which increases the likelihood of producing reliable and reproducible results, minimizes the likelihood of harm to the subjects, and protects vulnerable people from exploitation. Now that we have our research questions, our precise electronic search database, and our inclusion and exclusion criteria, we can now move on to the results and discussion review process. Our review article was conducted in accordance with the preferred reporting items for systematic reviews and meta-analysis, which is the PRISMA checklist. And PRISMA-based flow diagram was used for data extraction review and done by the following: identification, screening, eligibility, and inclusion steps. We performed it on January 19, 2022. resulting the Medline identifying a total of 457 articles. The search retrieved 457 records, among them 299 title and abstract were assessed for eligibility and 157 were excluded. A total of 8 studies were included in the review. I will now give this opportunity to Ms. Cruz to continue our presentation.
After searching and extracting different articles, we chose a total of 8 articles that are relevant to our topic, which is about bipolar disorder. The selected 8 articles has been summarized, including its author and publication, title, findings, and conclusions. After reviewing and summarizing the 8 articles, we have now enough and detailed information to answer and achieve our objectives of the study, which is to identify what is bipolar disorder and its types, causes, symptoms, and treatments. According to the 8 articles, bipolar disorder is a severe, highly heritable, psychiatric, and chronic mental illness that associated with fluctuations of mood state and energy of a certain person. It has 2 types. These are the bipolar disorder 1 and bipolar disorder 2. Patients with bipolar disorder 1 may suffer more psychotic and melancholic symptoms, more severe and widespread impairment of cognitive functions, while patients with bipolar disorder 2 has a higher total number of episodes, increase with anxiety and personality disorder. In causes of bipolar disorder, some studies suggest that bipolar disorder are linked with more frequent presence of family history of depression, antisocial personality, and psychoactive substances use. Other studies present environmental factors such as trauma, sexual and emotional abuse, loss of parents in childhood, and disturbed family background that may develop this kind of disorder. After reading these articles, we found out that irritable mood, sleep pattern, increased self-confidence, racing thoughts or flight of ideas, rapid speech, and distractibility are some symptoms of bipolar disorder. We also found out that the most frequent manic symptoms in children is thought to be irritability, and in adolescents was hyperactivity. In treatment of bipolar disorder, some studies recommended that psychopharmacotherapy be used in conjunction with psychosocial interventions in the treatment of bipolar disorder. Cognitive behavioral therapy and psychoeducation are some of the psychosocial interventions to improve the treatment in bipolar disorder. Some medications such as first-generation and second-generation mood stabilizer are also helpful to treat manic or mixed episodes, especially in adolescents with bipolar disorder, whereas atypical antipsychotic are not approved for the treatment of children under the age of 10. As we end our systematic review, we concluded that bipolar disorder is a severe mental health condition and long-term disorder that associated with fluctuation of mood, thought, and behavior. It has 2 types, the bipolar disorder 1 and bipolar disorder 2. A person with bipolar disorder 1 will experience mania, while a person with bipolar disorder 2 will experience at least 1 episode of hypomania. It may be caused by the combination of factors such as genetic factors, environmental factors, and psychosocial factors. Symptoms of bipolar disorder include changes in mood, energy, activity levels, sleep patterns, emotions, and behaviors. Currently, it has no cure, but there are treatments available to prevent relapses of high and low episodes, improve a person's quality of life, and ability to function.